Hey, welcome back, everybody, to Coach Unfiltered, episode 12. Nice. I'm Coach Art. With me today, special guest, Coach Brian Hurley. Welcome back, Coach.
Thank you. Thank you
Good
for
to
having
have
me.
you. Good to have you.
Glad to be here.
All right. So, our main focus is going to be really talking about the youth soccer landscape in Houston, right? But right now, we're still dealing with World Cup. So, we'll start there. Um, the fan experience in Houston has been really awesome. Uh, 7 matches for Houston. A lot of people attended. There was the fan zone, the fan events. There were parties. There were watch parties. All kinds of good stuff happened. Um, we have some slides of people with the fan experience. Check these out. People enjoying, the Canadian match. They were out there for Morocco. They were out there. Yep, there's the Morocco fans. We had people going to Brazil, Sweden. The big orange bus, that Orange Army March, came through Houston. They said, "Thank you, Houston," at the very end. That was a massive thing. Uh, I think the same day the Swedish Army was out. There's some more of our Portugal. No. Those are Morocco. Egypt fans. Egypt fans. So everybody got in on the action. We even have a couple of fans here. They sent a video in, which is kind of cool. They were celebrating. Let's show that there. I think that was a lot of fun to see for these guys. But it looks like they were having quite the party with this thing. That looks awesome. That looks awesome. Our very own Coach Tiffany was actually at a couple of matches. And I was asking her, well, what was your experience? What did you see? What did you like? What was so good about attending the World Cup? And her response, she sent me a whole list of things she saw. She said she went to 3 separate matches. So she ended up going to Germany, Curacao, Portugal, Uzbekistan, and then the round of 32, Brazil, Japan. It's worth noting, Coach Tiffany is mostly a referee. That's her job. So no, we don't get paid crazy amounts of money. she hooked up with her dad. Dad is near retirement age, and he took care of the tickets. So you got lucky, Coach. I'm with you there. I would have done the same thing. She went to the Germany match because she's German-born, German descent. Brazil, she's always loved the Brazilian players. Was her big deal there. And Portugal because of Ronaldo, which, okay, whatever you say. We are very loyal to Messi here. So just so you know. She had a really good time at these matches, and her experience was she was just overwhelmed by the amount of people, the noise, the atmosphere. It was just really crazy. So I think that was a cool thing for her to go see and enjoy. Do you have any experiences out there?
I didn't have any personal experience. I didn't get a chance to go out there. I know some people that went. I have some buddies that had never watched soccer before, didn't really know anything until the World Cup came, and they're texting me, asking me questions. Well, how is that offsides? Why is this not this? What? and now they're just getting into it. So that's awesome to see that the World Cup, especially here in Houston, but throughout the country, is having that effect on people.
That is cool. I think that's how we get attention to our sport the most. It's '94. There was the big World Cup, and MLS was born from that. Everybody was like, "Oh, we need a league of our own. We need a league of our own." So let's see what this one does. I also went out and talked to a young lady. So one of my clients out at VFI Athletics in Katy, and she's Canadian. Recently, I mean 2 days ago, got her American citizenship. She's now a U.S. citizen. Congratulations, Mrs. Seibel. And her husband, Chris, are fantastic people. But I talked to her about the fan experience. She went to the Canada-Morocco match. Here's what she had to say about that. She really enjoyed it. Let's check it out. Oh, those are some other loud people.
It was electric. It was exciting. It was something like national pride that you've never seen before. It's hard to explain because being a part of it was just something that I've never been a part of, and it made me extremely proud to be Canadian and extremely proud to see that the Canadian had made it to where they were, and they dug in their heels and they got where they wanted to be. I mean, they didn't get further, but they also had a match with a far superior team. So they did as good best they could, and I wish they could have done better, but it was amazing to be there, and the atmosphere and the crowd and everything was just electric. Like, you can't describe it anything other than to say that it was electric. It was amazing, and it was so much fun just to be there and to see it and experience, and it was just fun. Like,
And there you have it, right? So our brand new U.S. citizen, former Canadian of German descent. And yeah. So, welcome to the U.S. Thank you for being a citizen. And thank you for the interview, Christine Seibel. We really enjoyed talking to you. So that's it for Houston. We're done here. Everything's moved on. Thank you, Houston, for hosting us. I think it highlighted the interest of the community as far as football and soccer, football. So any thoughts other than?
No, it was great for the city. It was good exposure. It was awesome to be a host city.
It really
Because
was.
not every city got to host.
No.
And I think it was good for obviously our commerce here, and and it brought just more awareness to the sport, especially locally.
Yeah. Let's see what happens with our fall season coming up here in youth sports, and then is there going to be any more interest? Are we going to get more kids in? And then let's see what we do with that. That'll be interesting. So thank you, Houston, again for your 7 matches in the World Cup, and let's move on. Everybody else is set for the quarters, right? We're down to the quarters or the semis? Quarterfinals. And let's review some of the matches that got us there. OMG. The first one, oh, Lord. Argentina versus Cabo Verde. What the heck? What did you think?
I expected Cabo Verde to come out and just play with house money. They didn't have anything to lose. They didn't have anything to prove. Argentina was the ones that were probably playing a little bit fearful because who knows what this Cabo Verde team is going to do. And they did not disappoint. Cabo Verde came out and played as hard as they could and did the world proud.
They did. That was an amazing match. I think up till now, the best match or one of the best matches I've seen in this cup. It felt like a final. It felt like you were watching a final. Like it had that intensity. It had that life to it. You're going, what am I watching here? Did I pay for this? Is this pay-per-view? It was that intense. It was great. So Argentina beats Cabo Verde 3-2, but not before we figured out that Cabo, as you said, did not come to just stand still. They came to play. They didn't come to just low block and say, this is the best we got. They came to fight. And to take on the world champ like that, you've got to do it if you're trying to beat the world champ. You've got to come right out and get them. That's what they did. It was fantastic to see that they really tried. Now, the standout goal in that match to me was Messi's touch. The goal that Messi scored as he runs into the penalty area, brings it down with his left foot, and then as it bounces off the ground, quick half volley and slaps it into the goal. Have you ever tried doing that?
I don't know if maybe in my mind, but I don't think my body would allow me to do that.
That would be one of those that I would have done as a kid playing, going, oh yeah, I meant that. Going, what did I just do? That just doesn't make any sense. But that was amazing. The way he sees the ball, the touch he has, that's why I respect the man. I don't see anyone else able to do stuff like that at that refined level.
No, just the technical ability that he has is there's not many that have that.
Why is he such an outlier?
Is that something you can coach too?
Exactly. That just comes from him.
Yeah.
And whatever he does in his off time, as a coach, you would wish all your players were working like him in their off time and then come to you and go, hey, coach, what do you think if I do this? It's like, whoa, that'd be great. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But we all know that for most of us as coaches, you see the players at practice and they don't do anything until next practice, and so on and so forth. Just fun, fun, fun. So Cabo Verde was down 1-0. They equalized. Leroy Duterte went right past Emi Martinez, shot a goal right under him. Now, Emi Martinez, we have a theory going. We don't think he really wants to help the team until the end, because I think he has a deal with Messi. He goes, no, 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 you got this, Leo. You don't need me right now. This is doable. You got this. You go first, and then I'll save what needs to be saved at the end to help highlight you. That's what it feels like, because the man usually lets stuff slip that you go, how? You are the game saver in World Cup action, but then club, I think he's kind of right? He's kind of Swiss cheese. And then you see him back again in the World Cup, and he's kind of Swiss cheese until it really matters, and then he goes, I'm here. So, correct me if I'm wrong. That's my thought on him.
Yeah, no, he's hey, just get me to the finals, and then I'll protect the goal.
Then I'll do what you need me to do.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. That's what I'm here for. Lisandro Martinez takes back the lead at 2-1. But then the name that will not, there's two names that won't be forgotten here. Sidney Lopez Cabral for Cabo Verde runs it up the left, cuts back, and then hits it straight upper net. What the heck? And that's not one of those things you go, oh my gosh, look what he can do. I thought to myself, that's just, as you said, bringing it all, taking every chance you've got, and sometimes it happens. Like, yeah, there's some skill to it, but at the same time, I have the audacity to do this because I want to win. So, kudos, good stuff. Messi took the corner kick. It was supposed to be an assist, but Cabo Verde's defender actually headed it in. So 3-2 win, Argentina. Wow. It was crazy to me. Now, the keeper there, standout player, Sidney Lopez Cabral, no offers yet. He had Mourinho spoke to him, messaged him, said, hey, good job. Let's see how you do. I think his value may have gone up a little bit. I think he was worth about $5 million before the Cup, went up to about $7 million. Again, you're not really saying, oh, no, he is going to be the ultimate striker, but at the same time, that's what he could do. Can you be the coach to turn that valve? Get that switch. So maybe he's worth an extra $2 million there. And then Vozinha. Keeper Vozinha. Outstanding goalkeeper. He ended up with a clothing campaign from Nike. And then now he's on UFL Mobile, which is an app backed by Ronaldo, Cristiano Ronaldo. So he's got a couple of deals. And then in the works is the Serie 2 Brazilian League. Serie B, sorry. Serie B Brazilian League is looking to sign him, but Inter Miami wants him. I think Leo Messi really wanted that keeper on his side. What are your thoughts if they were to sign him?
I mean, if Inter Miami signs him, I mean, yes, he's riding high on this World Cup, the emotional, the Cinderella type story, and eventually all that will kind of dwindle down, especially if he goes to the MLS, where it's just MLS. There's no glam, there's no glory, there's no pride that you're playing for your country. And then maybe that's when the true 40-year-old goalkeeper comes out. But there's nothing to say that a 40-year-old goalkeeper can't play in the MLS, okay? Because it's the MLS.
Okay, because it's MLS. All right. I got you. Good point, though. I mean, back in the day, James, after his World Cup performance, got signed to Madrid. And they said, oh my gosh, we need this guy. Look what he's done. Wow. When he got there, they realized he only likes to play the way Colombia plays him. He's the 10. I don't play 9. I don't do a false. I don't do 7-11. I don't even drop to a 6. I am just a 10. I sit here. I look this way. I look that way. And this is what I do. And that was it. So he fizzled out at Madrid, ended up back in Colombia. And that's all for James. So maybe to your point, that might end up being Vozinha. I hope not. I wish him the best. I hope he does end up coming to MLS because he's got a massive following now.
Massive following, what, 50,000 Instagram followers all the way up to maybe 15 million, 16 million overnight.
And these days, that's what makes you, right? The following.
Yeah.
So if that's what MLS is looking for, maybe it's a good deal for him. I hope so. And best of luck to him. We'll see how that goes. All right. So that was one of the big matches. Other stuff happened. Colombia, Ghana, but then Colombia ended up playing Switzerland, and now they're Ghana. They're gone, right? Colombia is Ghana. Yeah. I can do that. So they are gone. Finally, Switzerland took them out. Luis Sanchez, who does fantastic for club, again, great for club, never showed up. He was all over the box. He was one of those other teams that had over 20 shots, right? But only 5 on target at the end of the match. And what? You can't win a game that way. It was interesting how that worked out. But so Colombia's gone, Switzerland's through, and now they get to play Argentina.
They do.
What's your thought on the Argentina matchup?
I think obviously Argentina is the favorite. I think Switzerland won't put up as big a fight as Cabo Verde. That's my take. However, Argentina is, as we saw in Egypt, susceptible to the counterattack. So if Switzerland can get their speedy players and counter quickly before Argentina can recover, they may have a hope.
Oh my gosh, yes. They are very susceptible to the counter. I know they're the favorites. Again, always playing devil's advocate. I like Switzerland. Technical, fast, quick. And at the end of the Colombia game, even with the extra time, they were not gassed. Now, Argentina has had 2 grueling matches, and you could tell they were tired. I mean, that last goal with Egypt, Lautaro Martinez goes up and goes, I'm not running. Take this shot. And it just happened to be a really nice header. So that was great. So can they recover enough to face a young squad, pretty fit, like Switzerland? That's going to be the big question. I think Switzerland puts up a heck of a fight and becomes problematic. Can they take them out? Hope not. But I wouldn't put it past them. That's just my take on it. So we'll see what happens there. We had Canada-Morocco here in town. I was celebrating the Dima Maghreb, right? They finally lit up. I was like, yes, this is Morocco. This is the Morocco. And then they played, who they end up playing to get eliminated by? Was it France? France.
Yeah.
They just played France.
Yeah.
And now they're gone. And nothing happened, guys. They show up at the match, and it seems like we're Morocco. We got this. No real plan of attack. I think they were just riding high on the We Are Morocco wave on the Dima Maghreb, and apparently the Dima Maghreb did not do anything to stop France. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, even in the Canada game, Morocco, that first half, I mean, there was nothing going on for either team. Then I guess, there must have been a really colorful halftime speech. And Morocco came out and pulled it out. But credit to Canada. I mean, last World Cup, they didn't get any points. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And to make it to the knockout stage, great. I was happy for Canada, happy for Jesse Marsh for their success.
Okay. I'll give them that. That's good. Take the success where you can when it comes to the World Cup, right? Mexico, England. Now, this was a big match back at the Azteca. We've talked a lot about Azteca. Everyone that I've spoken to or listened to talks about the Azteca as this great mythical beast. It's just problematic to play at. But here's an interesting thing. So England was going there with only 3 days to prep, or 3-4 days to prep. And at the matchup, apparently Mexican officials were saying, hey, we need to move the match back to a different starting time 6 hours earlier because there was the possibility of storms. And outgoing Prime Minister Keir Starmer actually intervened. Head of state got involved. And he said, hey, that's not good because our guys need as much time to prep as possible. Can we keep it at the same hour or maybe go 1 hour later? Sure enough, Mexico said, okay, we'll give you all the opportunity you need. And they helped them out and moved the match 1 hour later. That's all that happened. But they were going to push it up 6 hours. Mm-hmm. So Don't know if that would have made a difference. They showed up. England showed up. I was very impressed. Mexico tried the same tactic they had before. They went hard, fast, and furious, and England held out. I'm like, what the heck? I wasn't expecting that, honestly. But you were, because you're like a super fan. Tell me your impression of that match. What did you think there?
No, I'm happy that England pulled it off. Jude Bellingham got those back-to-back goals in quick succession. Maybe Mexico was so focused on Harry Kane they forgot about Jude Bellingham in the middle, making these runs into the box. And both goals were fairly similar. From the right side, came in, beat his man, put a head and a foot on the ball, and scored. And then to top it off was kind of the icing on the cake for England fans is England got that red card in the 54th minute, playing down for the 36 minutes.
Yes.
And still got the victory.
I like that last part. Still got the victory. Yes. Bellingham, hasn't been here very much, but showed up for this game. 2 quick goals, right? Very fast. Mexico's rocked. Like, what is going on? Quinones, however, wasn't going to stay quiet. He's who I was expecting to score really, really well for them. He showed up, banged one in. You're like, okay, they're in the fight. They had the 17-year-old Gilberto Mora playing up top, trying to get anything in. 17 years old. This kid had, 3 shots at goal? Again, part of the 25 shots on goal, right?
Yeah, 23 shots for Mexico. That just shots, 5 on target. Whereas England had 6 shots total, 5 of them were on target.
There you go.
Think about that.
So
that's a big difference.
Yeah, great conversion, and that makes all the difference right there. If you're just hammering, you're expecting something to get through. But if you've got your defense set up and your keeper's backing you up, that's not going to do much.
Well, and Mexico had 12 corner kicks.
12 corner kicks.
To England's 2.
Yes. But then,
But who's counting?
Difference. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Come on, it's me versus you. I'm not going to really beat you on a header unless I'm one of those the Japanese players can out-jump other players of that height. So that's a different matter. Yes, and so they were down that 54th minute. You ended up with Jarrell Kwanzaa slide studs up into Gallardo for Mexico. Red card. No way around it. That's just what had to happen. So now they're down, and then Harry Kane gets to convert a penalty, which you say he was robbed of one last time.
Yep.
He gets it back this time because their keeper, Tala, in his youthful exuberance, comes out and nails one of the players. So Harry Kane gets it. However, Harry Kane also gives back a penalty to Mexico. He ends up kicking into the leg of Brian Gutierrez. So 3-2, but Mexico could not do any more. It felt surreal because it's the Azteca, man. I mean, at that place, you expect Mexico to show. It's like when the U.S. beat Mexico there. You're like, no, but yes. England beats them there. No, but yes. So, thank you, Mexico. You're great. The most famous chant I got out of it was ECC, which really meant, and what if? What if yes? And the other one was their song, the Ay, 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 canta y no llores. Sorry, guys, pero adios. We'll see you next time on the next edition of World Cup. I think that's going to be really interesting. That was a lot of fun. The next match we're going to talk about, again, one of the second biggest match I've seen so far. What the heck? Argentina is now going versus Egypt. And I knew Egypt was going to be troublesome. I did not expect what I got out of it. What was your take on this?
I was surprised. But I mean, it could have been another type like Cape Verde type mentality where Egypt is, they're higher ranked, but they're also playing against Argentina, the number 1 in the world. So you have nothing to lose.
But you've got Argentina down 2-0. 2-0. Back on the ropes. Minute 78, really, right? Mm-hmm. Minute 78, you've got this. So I had a conversation with some of my athletes, and we were having this whole discussion. So I had players, I've got myself as a coach, and I've got a super fan. and a couple of super fans. And the super fans are like, how? Coach, tell me, how do they give up a 2-0 lead? How does that even happen? I'm like, okay, let's find out. Players, I turn to my guys. How do you drop a 2-0 lead? Well, I mean, because coach is going, guys, like, we need to push back. We need to keep it going. Don't stop now. Players, what are your thoughts? The players said, coach, look at the scoreboard. We're winning. We got this. We'll get that goal shortly. Don't worry about it. The coach's urgency is like, can we get it now before anything else happens? Right? Now, huge controversies here. There was a goal where Egypt takes it up 2-0, but it was called back. VAR intervenes again. This one was a big deal. Everyone's arguing it. Former players are not in agreement with that callback. What is your thought on that particular callback on that goal?
I mean, if we're going by the letter of the laws and FIFA, then I guess it's valid because it was the attacking phase of play, right? And they can go all the way back into the start of the attacking phase of play. However, do I agree with it? Not at all. I mean, they had to dribble the whole length of the field, dribble through 3 or 4 Argentinians just to get that goal. Argentina had so many chances or several chances to regain the ball back, even foul, do something to stop the goal, and they didn't do it. So why go back all the way to the corner flag just to call the goal back? Yeah, I don't agree with it. I don't think that's what VAR is for in that sense. I can understand if it's like the hand of God, or when Thierry Henry hit it with his hand against was it Ireland or Scotland?
One of those.
So those, I think, yes, check. But something the whole length of the field at 10 seconds, 12 seconds. I just don't see how they can call it, especially when the referee didn't call the foul as it happened.
Yeah. My question then had come, well, what's the review process? So according to IFAB and FIFA laws of the game, the VAR protocol, yes, thank you for saying the attacking phase of play, because it's difficult for folks to understand the 4 phases of play. When I say attacking phase, defending phase, getting the ball back, losing the ball, we are in these transitional moments occur all the time. The attacking phase of play, it's not when you gain possession. Attacking phase of play, right? They're moving forward. Yes, the foul. They're coming ahead. And as you said, by the letter of the law and the new protocols they installed, yeah, it gets called back. It's hard to deal with that. Now, the worst I've done with something like that, I was doing an international cup, and I was the center. It was so fast. The gameplay was so fast. The player runs here. Something happens, but I see the ball go through, and I say, advantage, play on. It goes. They go up the line, cross, ball goes out, but nobody touches it. It hits the crossbar and goes over. Okay, go kick. My referee, closest to the attacking side, defending side, raises the flag and he points back. And I turn around. That referee's standing there with his flag up. I said, oh, what just happened? So I go over there. What happened? Ball went out over here. Oh, he goes, you didn't see me, so I just kept the flag up, but the ball went out. Got it. So I call it back. Big explosion. Everyone's mad. Oh, come on. How are you going to call it back? It already did that. I understood. This gentleman's here. Ball went out. That means it was out of play here. What if we'd scored? And I can't count that. This happened. That was the one time that's why I can relate to that, that happened to me. And it's interesting when it happens because your brain goes, his flag is up. And then you're tracking everything else that happened, trying to figure out, okay, if they had scored, I'd have to neutralize that. Oh my gosh. But that is something that has already happened to myself and other referees. So I understand this one. What's difficult, yes, if they had scored, I would have had to call it back. Mm-hmm. Oh, I was not very popular that day anyway. So I'm sure.
Nor was this referee. But, because I think the controversy comes because it was Argentina. If it was some other team, if it was, Egypt versus Switzerland and it got called, because nobody thinks, oh, we're trying to help Argentina. Or the referee's trying to help Argentina.
Right.
But that call had nothing to do with Egypt giving up 3 goals
Thank you.
at the end of the game.
Thank you. He said it first. And again, you have to pull back and look at this, right? If you're up 2-0, 78 minutes, looks like you've got them, right? You don't lay off the gas. And again, I've described it. He's a coach. I'm a coach. You're looking at your athletes like, hey, gents, ladies, we need to get this going. Keep the pressure. Let's go. Let's go. But from a player's perspective, coach, check it out. We're 2-0. We got it. We'll get that third one in just a minute. And everybody's more relaxed. Maybe they're even starting to celebrate, starting to feel that, oh my gosh, we're going to do this.
You can, and players do get in that mindset, but there's a difference between when you're just playing any other team and then when you're playing against that guy
Leo
right there.
Messi. Okay?
That's that guy. You cannot sleep on him. You can't be comfortable anytime he's on the field thinking that, oh yeah, we're up 2-0, 3-0, 4-0, we got it in the bag. Because
exactly.
I mean, you saw what it meant to him after winning, with crying, just because he felt that he was letting his team down with that missed penalty kick, at the beginning. But then he stepped up as great ones do and took the team on his back.
Finally picked the kick from the outside of the penalty area, hits Christian Romero, 2-1. Everybody's like, well, okay, we expected one. It's 78 minutes, right? 12 minutes out, maybe an extra 5-6. So you got 18 minutes. This game's pretty much done. Let's just hold them off. But then 5 minutes later, he's inside the penalty area. There's a loose ball, and he just bangs it through the crowd. Now we're 2-2. The crowd's going insane. I'm losing my mind because I had literally 5 minutes earlier said, well, maybe it's time. Maybe Leo has gotten to that age, and he just can't do it anymore. If he could have, I think he would have looked out of the TV screen like, hang on a second, I got this. And then he went, and I'm like, good Lord. You cannot fall asleep when this man is on the pitch. He takes it to a whole new level. He went from a 10 to an 11, and then he hung up there. He hung in the 11th spot and was modeling Lamine Yamal, coming in, cutting around, trying to move that ball off his left. I'm going, this man just gets you. How do you cover someone like him? How do you mark him?
I think many people have tried, even with multiple players on them. And I think it was Landon Donovan and Tim Howard. They were talking about how Landon Donovan was trying to mark him, and he had 4 players around him, and Messi was still able to get through all 4 of them with ease. It's something where he has like a magnet on his foot to the ball, and it just stays on. And without just fouling him, it's hard just to take the ball off of him.
And then generally that's why you end up close to the box fouling him when he gets those free kicks. Mm-hmm. He figured out, if I just get here, they're going to hit me, and then I've got to convert these.
Yeah.
And he became such an expert, and he's so proficient at those kicks. Yeah, it's something amazing. So, again, probably one of the greatest players to ever play the game. The controversies then are the goal that was disallowed. Then, in the last goal that Argentina takes, Egypt is back in their goal, in their penalty area. They take the ball, they come back, they go for a long run. Lautaro Martinez is running up the right, and he's like, I can't run anymore. Kicks it over, switches play, into the head, bang, score, 3-2, and that ends up being the final score. Right? Argentina wins it in an improbable comeback. That second possible buildup, attacking phase foul, they said was not reviewed correctly. So there's 2 things that happened there. One, Mo Salah is coming into the box. He lost the ball. They take it. He tries to stick his foot into the defender. Defender knows enough to pull his leg back. So there's a moment of touch, and then he pulls and goes. So no foul. You can't get that. That's a flop. The other one that they're asking for, towards the center of the 18, I don't remember if it was Cannavaro or who it was in there defending against one of the Egyptian players, and they're tugging. They're going at each other. He's yanking on his jersey. He pulls him out, gets him out of position, but there's no ball coming. Nothing. The argument is, if that happens to a player, so you got a player on the outside of the 18, but he's just lost the ball. This player got fouled over here in the middle of the 18. Is that a penalty kick?
I would say no, not if the ball is nowhere near him. And one of those fouls, some of those times, those fouls when they're pulling each other, they never get called anyway in the box.
Exactly.
Which, yeah, that's a problem. I don't like that, because if it's a foul outside the box, it should be a foul inside the box. But referees call it a little bit tighter in the box, but they also have to, just like you were saying with Mo Salah, diving. There's a lot of that goes on too. So referees in the heat of the battle, they have to distinguish what's a flop, what's not a flop, and some of these are good actors.
Oh
some
my
of these
gosh,
soccer players.
we have some of the best actors. Good Lord. If you get no contact and you're sitting there holding your shin like, I'm about to die. Yeah, okay. And then you see the video, nothing happened. Dude, you're really good. Mm-hmm. That is Oscar worthy. That's some awesome stuff. So the foul in the middle, when they're jostling for position, there's no ball near him. I've had a discussion with a few people and they tell me, well, no, that should have been a penalty. How do you award a goal for a foul there? There's no ball in play. You just get a goal? That's not how it works. Now there's a foul there. True, if you want to recognize it after the play's done, you can come back and go, hey, come here. That's for that one back there. That's generally all you can do, because that play's over. It's done. You can come back and sanction it if you want. If you're going to catch grief from it and you need a way to, let me make sure I tell them I recognize it, then yes, you can call and say, hey, I'm at least going to give you a yellow card for that thing back there, but I'm not stopping play. So that's one way to do it. So it's just crazy. Again, more controversy. I don't know if the VAR is helping us. Is it the VAR, the protocol, or the humans? Or is it just a combination of everything?
It's just a combination of everything. With the FIFA laws, again, it was to black and white, to the letter, attack and phase of play. Whether or not we agree with it, that's a different debate, right? But according to how the laws state, they have to go back and look at that foul where they started the attack. And, there's no gray area there.
Nope. Luigi Colima, the head referee for FIFA, came out and said, nope, done by the guidelines and protocol. This is what it is. I talked to a couple of people about the Leo Messi performance, because, again, I was just gobsmacked at what I was looking at and thought, like you, craziness how good of a player he is. Let me show these interviews with a couple of Messi fans. Here you go.
We were watching the Egypt-Argentina match. Egypt came out of the gate really strong, scored one. We were all thinking this was it for Argentina, like game over. I don't think any of us were ready to say goodbye to Messi on the field. Like it felt too soon. Messi thought the same thing, and he did his thing where he lays quiet in the background until he's like, okay, enough of this. And he made his move. They're like, okay, there's still a chance. And came back like I forget what minute. Anyways, they equalized, then they got that last goal in, almost towards the end of the game. You're just praying for that final whistle to be blown by the ref. It was an amazing comeback, for sure.
If you look at it, it was honestly a beautiful performance. From being that 2-0 down to suddenly lighting up around that 70th, 75th minute, scoring that one goal to give Argentina that light. And then again, with that third goal, he gets the assist. Like, what more can you ask for? It was honestly perfect.
Honestly perfect. Wow. So a couple of super fans out at the training grounds for VFI Athletics, they gave me their experience watching Leo Messi play. And you said earlier, because it's Argentina, because it's Leo Messi, there's always going to be that they're being helped, which is, FIFA, Argentina. They feel that Leo Messi's getting a leg up, hand up in this tournament or in any tournament that he's in, right? Because they love him. They want him. It is what it is. In the news media recently, they had a nice little Post, which is interesting, out in Florida. I don't know if you heard, the Argentine Football Federation is under investigation by the FBI for financial crimes. Now, they have suspicions, right, of bank transactions somewhere in the neighborhood of 300 million. Sponsorship deals, third-party financial operations, just issues that they've been accused of money laundering and illegal bank transactions and tax evasion in Argentina. So the FBI is investigating here in the USA. There's no crime, they're just investigating. The media got a hold of it, and guess whose face they put on the front of that newscast? They stick Leo Messi right there and say, Argentina is being investigated for fraudulent bank transactions. So, yes, it was when they transferred the money to Infantino to make sure he got them into the tournament. I think that's what they're thinking is happening. But I don't know, man. It just seems like every time something doesn't go quite right, it's a conspiracy when it comes to Argentina. Do you think there's anything behind it, or it's just Argentina?
No, it's just people get upset because Argentina keeps dominating and keeps winning, and Messi is the face of that team right now. He's the face of soccer, and so they want the Cape Verdes to win. They want, I don't know if they want France, but they want somebody else to win, right? So they're gonna look at any issues. Or anything, any questionable things. Again, that goal being called back for Egypt didn't lose them the game. Okay, they quit playing, or they stopped, or they woke up a sleeping giant in Argentina and Messi, and he did what he does. Whether you like it or not. There was no referee. Referees just didn't give Argentina 3 penalty kicks, in a row to win the game. I mean, they worked for it and they got it.
Yep, I'm with you there. So we're all in agreement here at Coach Unfiltered. Yes, sorry Egypt, but you had a 2-0 lead. Referees being what they are, really, come on, yeah. So thank you. We enjoyed all the African teams being in this cup. The African level of play is really stepping up. It's awesome. So, but again, Leo Messi gets no mercy. Kudos to Messi. He's doing his thing. And that's all we got for that subject. Let's cut to a commercial again for our sponsor, VFI Athletics. Then we'll come back and talk a little bit about the big news with USA. Here we go. All right. Thank you, VFI Athletics. Now let's talk about bigger controversy. USA, Team USA. Oh my gosh. July 5th, right? We already know Balogun's got a red card from previous match. We may not agree with it. I didn't agree with it, but it was handed down. It is what it is. You get a 1-match suspension, automatic. That's just how it goes. July 5th, Sunday, the news comes out that they're not reversing the red card. Now, FIFA has no mechanism for reversing a red card, but they are going to defer his punishment. So at this point, you've got a player in the U.S. who's going to have his punishment deferred for any time within a year. Sometime during the year, he'll serve it, or it may be just released and expunged if he doesn't commit another offense. Okay. This had been done for Ronaldo, right? Before the tournament, I think with Ireland, he actually punched somebody. So he ended up with a 3-match suspension, but they suspended 2 of those. And that was before the tournament, and we don't care about that because that's past. We don't care what's going to happen, future from that. but it was in real time, in tournament play. This was being done. They were gonna not waive, but defer. And he was going to be eligible to play the very next match against Belgium. Later came out that U.S. officials and the U.S. president had actually made the call, intervened. Here we go. What are your thoughts on this? Ooh, loaded question.
Yeah. I don't agree that it was a red card to begin with.
Right.
Okay. I'm okay with it being suspended because it shouldn't have been a red card to begin with.
Right.
Now, the problem I have with it is from a coaching standpoint, and I guess this is going into the game. But as a coach, your player gets a red card. After that game, you're thinking, okay, how do I fix it for the next game? What do I need to implement, and who am I going to be playing? What tactics? What formation? How am I going to deal with this player not playing? And so you're training a certain way. Okay. You're training up into that Belgium game. You're training. Then you get news a day before that, oh, he can play. So now everything you've just worked on is kind of out the door if you're going to continue allowing this player to play, if you're going to start him. And I think Pochettino had to start him because of the way it was done. So it's not like he had a choice like, hey, we already have our game plan. We already have our tactics set. We're good to go. We train without him. We don't need him. But because of how it happened and who was all involved in getting this thing suspended, I think he had to play him. And it was kind of, they didn't have time to prepare. That's my focus on that, and that's, I think, why that game ended the way it did.
I'm with you there. Yeah, you come up with a game plan, and yes, if your star player or your best goal scorer is no longer available, you go, okay, we have 3 days to get this reset, so let's try Pepe. Hey, Gio, I think I'm going to put you in this spot and see how that works. Well, that's not Gio's forte. Pepe, that's not Pepe's forte. What is Pepe's forte? I haven't seen him show up at all. But anyway, your game plan is set. You're trying to do this. Obviously, you think it was the same way for Belgium or not as much? Because they had changed some of their starting players as well. Were they planning on Balogun or not?
Probably not.
They just decided they were going to hammer them. They didn't even try to play as much through the midfield. Up the lanes, quick, off the sides, get that ball up there, go, 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 go.
I mean, KDB didn't even play. Doku came in towards the end. I mean, maybe Belgium was saying, we don't need our star players to beat U.S.
Wow. What a statement.
Yeah.
What a statement. So this Belgium that showed up was better, different, sharper. Yeah, they changed some of their star players, and it seemed like the team gelled. I was like, oh, this is the same squad? Wow. So the internet fallout after the red card was massive. Everything came to light. Yes, by the book, Pochettino could play Balogun. He was available. So to Coach Brian's point, okay, I think I need to use him because it's a big thing. He was released to us. We need to go ahead and put him in. And now you're trying, well, let's go back to this and we'll add that modifier. Your team scrambled. It's difficult on a day like that to try to reset everything. And even if you've worked up play and decided, okay, we're going to play this way, this style. Oh, okay, now we change. To their credit, they tried. Here's the thing. Did the team feel the pressure from the fallout of what happened with Balogun? Probably. You think? I'm sure they're limited in their social media and TV and focus. Do you think they felt any of this?
I don't think so. I think they were happy to have him back.
Okay.
I think it was justified. They felt like, hey, it shouldn't have been a red card to begin with. We got our teammate back. Let's play. Okay. But at the same time, again, as a player, they're thinking, hey, we just trained this way for 3 days in preparation for Belgium. Do we keep playing that way or do we change it up now? Do we play how we played, in the previous matches? Because it's a different team. The different opponents have different tactics, different formations that you got to play for. You got to deal with.
Interesting. So I'm thinking that they would have limited all their social media, but would they have ever gotten the news or understood what had occurred and what the fallout was on the internet? Maybe that's just us out here. I don't know that they would have heard it. My conspiracy theory is, and I asked a couple of collegiate players, if you heard this happen and you knew everything up to that, and you were being told basically, president comes in and says, I saved the team, I did this for you guys, go get him. And there is any kind of issue among players of, we don't like this guy, we don't like what's happening. Would you, as a team, agree to dial it back a bit and not give your best? I asked a couple of players, and I said, would you? He said, if we all agreed, yeah, we don't need that crap. Okay. I asked another player, what do you think? I don't know, man. It's the World Cup. But then it becomes his team. And we don't do that. That's our team. We built this. No, we could hold back. We could probably hold back. And I thought about that. These are young guys, a little bit more idealistic. Would they? My thought is, heck no. I'm in the World Cup. That's me. I'm in the World Cup. I'm going to do or die with whatever you give me. We're doing this. What's your thought on it?
I mean, if that was their mentality, then I hope not. Let's put that. I
hope
hope that they're not trying to sandbag the game because of whatever politics got involved in suspending that red card. Because it is a World Cup, you're going to play hard no matter what, because you're playing for the badge, you're playing for the country.
Exactly.
You're not playing for any particular person or political agenda. If nothing else, I mean, the politics got your best player
Back. Right.
That's what you should be thankful for and being like, okay, let's just move forward and you can deal with the rest of it later. But I mean, you look at, how hurt was Pulisic when he came out, I mean, I've played on a sprained ankle before. And it was a Sunday league game that meant nothing. It wasn't in the World Cup knockout stage. So, and yeah, I regret it now because now I have ankle issues. But to me, the Sunday league game was everything. So yeah, who cares if I'll just tie it up and bandage it up and play.
All right.
So for him to just the way he left, I don't know where his mentality is.
And again, that was my thought for most of the players. I don't know where they all were at this point. It looked like they weren't there. Even if the game plan wasn't what they had worked on, it all seemed to me, and I've coached many athletes, they did not lock in. Something was off. And then I started thinking, would players turn back? It take me back to the 74 World Cup with Zaire when they were threatened. And Mobutu was the one that told them, hey, if you lose, you may not make it home alive. And the one players, the field, they were like, no, we're not playing. I think it was Scotland that beat them 9-0 because they refused to play. And I'm like, okay, so players on the field, coaching staff, and then whatever happens externally, can it influence a game? Did it influence this game? That's my question. Did they come in with that same type of mindset, Zaire 74, and say, you know what? This is our team. We do it our way. And no, not today. I hope not. Like you said, I hope not. I do. But that question rattles around in my head. Devil's advocate.
Yeah, no, and I'm a big conspiracy theorist as well. But that one, to me, I hope not. I just think that adding that extra piece, putting him back on the starting lineup, kind of messed up what they were doing. I mean, but at the same time, they couldn't control the ball, they couldn't pass the ball, their off the ball movement was bad. It was just like, where is this team at? And yeah, to your point, maybe it's possible.
Ooh, I've got another conspiracy theorist. Sort of convinced here. I'll work on another one. Maybe there'll be three of us. So we'll see what happens, guys. But U.S. is out of the World Cup. Belgium's still in it. No, they're out.
They're out.
Spain knocked them out. Mm-hmm. So right into that. By the way, they scored on Spain, who had remained without any goals against them. Right. They had a clean sheet. But they got one against them now. One in all the World Cup games. So That's a powerful young squad there. So Belgium, gone. Wiedersehen. And USA, thank you. I did not like the Country Road song. Sorry. That's just, come on, man. Really? Could we do some Metallica? Why this? So anyway, that's just me. We're going to be right back, cutting back to our commercial sponsor, VFI Athletics, and we'll wrap this up talking about question I got in the internet. See you in just a minute. All right, welcome back. Okay, so last topic today. We were talking about USA team. I had some questions on the internet that were posed as far as what's going on with development of soccer in the United States. Now, last World Cup, in '94, when the World Cup was here in the US, they created MLS out of that. So it looks like people are once again looking at soccer going, oh my God, we need to do something. We've got to fix it. So question on the internet was, Coach, why are we so far behind on development? Why can we not compete at a higher level? What's going on? I know you've coached in these leagues. Youth soccer, that's where I've coached. What are your thoughts? Why are we so far back in development?
I believe it's because we're not focused on development as much as we should be.
Thank you.
Okay, we're focused, especially in the club scene. We're focused more on money. Clubs are ran more as a business than how can we make players better. Because what happens is clubs will just poach players from different clubs, trying to form like one elite team just to win now. And then they go, but they don't really learn how to win or how to play because it's just a like an all-star team. And then you take one or two players that are playmakers out of that, and the rest of the team doesn't know how to play, right?
Exactly.
So it's more about how many players can we get into our club, how many teams can we form, and then let's pick one or two teams to win all these tournaments to just make our club sound great.
Amen.
And then at the same time, there's no incentive to develop players. Okay, I know in other countries, like let's say England, if I have my club and I'm developing a player, and then he signs with another club, that club has to pay me or my club a transfer fee.
Okay.
Right. So I'm that's my incentive of developing players. Hey, let me make them really good so that when they move on to another team that signs them under contract, I get some kind of incentive and I can just keep building it.
Okay.
But here, no, I developed her. I'm keeping her, or I'm keeping him. I'm not going to give him to the Dynamo. I'm not going to give him to this academy because now my team is going to suck, and what's in it for me? So
what's in it for me? Right there. That honestly is the straightest answer. Thank you, Coach, that I've ever heard on the youth soccer sphere. Now here in Houston, I've coached in these leagues. I know you've coached several teams and several clubs. He's correct. The youth development, there is none. Every team is designed to find players that already know how to do something, and then you put them together to create a big team, a big, massive superstar team. When this happens, then you don't have to develop anything. And they're not really developed. They were taught by someone else how to win on that team. And you have your messy outliers. These kids have some extra talent that these guys can't do. And as a strength and conditioning coach, I will tell you this: those athletes that are super athletic at 8, 9, 10, right, eventually get bypassed when that growth velocity curve hits and those other kids catch up and they're not so great anymore at 14, 15, 16. He can't run as fast. He can't surprise people. There's other people that can beat him. But in that moment in time, man, that kid was the greatest. And he made my team. And I got 6 trophies out of him. And my club continues, right? We keep signing people. In England, as you said, they will pay you a transfer fee, so it's worth developing. I think that's awesome. I have not seen it here at all. And I used to. Now, there was a club here that started out really small. I think back then they were known as TFC. That's all we'll say. TFC had developed these players using the total football concept of Netherlands. And wow, they were showing kids, they were developing, it was great. And then they got bigger and bigger and bigger. And I don't know if they even do that anymore. Are they still working that system? I think not. Now, they've gotten huge. Locally, the clubs get so big, it's just about recruiting people to get money to fund the higher up teams. So development is not really looked at. You want development, here's what it is. As a coach, have you been to clubs where they already outlined their principles of play? Right?
Yeah. Yes.
And do they follow that, or is it up to every coach after that? Like, do coaches look at that and go, yes, and we all do that? Or, yeah, okay.
So most of the clubs I've been with do have principles of play, do have a game model, style of play, certain, what they do in each moment. But I think it just looks good on paper. Do the coaches follow it? No, because every coach is doing their own thing. They have their own, their own bubble that they're running their own teams with, despite whatever principles they have. And the biggest thing is there's no one really holding the coaches accountable, because they're not looking at their training sessions, seeing how they're interacting with the players. It's just, or going to their games, seeing how they work in games. It's just kind of like, okay, here's your team, do it. As long as there's 85% retention, you can still coach. Wow. That's what it comes down to. Sometimes it's not about winning or losing. It's the retention. Can you retain your players? Right. Are they going to like you enough to continue spending money at this club?
Right.
And
and then you're a successful coach.
Then you're a success.
Wow.
Doesn't matter how much you know of soccer. I've seen it. I've taken over a team, and a club asked me to take over a team, and it was an RL team, and I looked at their season, and they were undefeated, first place.
Okay.
And I'm like, why am I taking over this team? Because they're doing good. What needs to change? Well, they lost 2 of their best players, and we're changing coaches. I said, okay. So I took over that team. From the very beginning, I realized that they didn't know how to play soccer. All they did, their 2 best players were the fastest players. All they knew to do is boot the ball forward, let them go and score, and they were undefeated. Oh, it looks great on paper. Yeah, we're so good.
Yes, sir.
But the players didn't know how to play soccer, and that's where you have to get out of that, win at all costs. Hey, sometimes we're going to lose. And I've told parents, hey, I'm okay with losing because I got to develop players first.
Exactly.
So
yes, you have to develop players. Yes, I've had losing seasons. I've had, you end up with an 8, 10 game season when you're youth. I've done rec. And when you're working with these kids, right, these are 9, 10-year-olds, you're losing. The first game usually is a 15-0 loss. And then you're starting to dial them in, but you keep developing, you keep working. You've got a curriculum in place. At least I do. Some clubs do. I brought my own. They had nothing in place except, hey, here's some ideas for drills. Most coaches go on the internet and YouTube, whatever they want to do, and try to present them with, hey, Barcelona trains this way. Let's do this drill. That makes no sense to a player. Right? These are pros. These are pro players. All they see is, wow, they can kick a ball. They get nothing out of that. So I've got a curriculum for age groups, 9, 10-year-olds, 11, 12s, then 16 up. And you're working on these going, okay, it's To me, the way it feels, it's like an algorithm. It's like math. 2 plus 2, 3 times 5. And you do these little problems all the time so that the bigger math makes sense. When you're working soccer, it's these small things over here, 3 sessions that overlap with 3 more, and then you reverse the first 3 and keep going. And it's over and over and over. So in the course of a season, your team loses a lot. You try to prep for the game a little bit so that the parents feel like, hey, little Brian here is always on this losing team that I'm not going to come back next year. Okay, fine. But my take on it is I don't know who these kids are, and I have no idea who they're going to be. My job as a coach, I feel, is to give them the best possible path to success. If they leave me, fine, but at least I got them on the right path. That's my way of coaching. It's not popular. You lose teams. 6 people leave. You've got 4 left at the end of the season that believe in it, and everybody else, I'm out of here. I'm going to go to that squad over there that beat us every game. So it's good to know that clubs do still have the principles of play. It's interesting, though, nobody really follows. And curriculums, any curriculum, or is it up to each coach?
It all depends. Some clubs I've seen have the curriculum. Like, it doesn't matter if you're good at shooting or not good at shooting. Let's say today you're working on shooting, and they'll give you stuff, or so sometimes the club mandates what you're working on, but most of the time they give the coaches leeway in that. But most of the time the coaches don't know how to put a training session together. They're just going off of, like you said, off of YouTube and finding one here. Okay, here's a training session. Let's just put it together, instead of actually trying to figure out, how do I need to make these players better? And that comes from lack of education. When you have directors of coaching, of coaches in clubs that don't have licenses or have very low licenses, how are they directing or teaching coaches? I have no idea. And that's why, because that tells me it's just about the money. It's not about development.
There you go. And that's very true. I've seen a couple of places pop up around town, myself included, where we started doing technical sessions. Now, it's difficult. I know there's places that you can go and take your child. Oh, we'll improve your child. We have the Toca ball. We have this, we have that, we have that. Okay. Your child can individually do certain things to improve their touch, their speed, their strength. Got it. But gameplay and the ability to recognize situations over and over, that's a different concept. You can't do that with one kid. So while I can Toca you to death and give you all these drills, I cannot make you play better in a game with 10 other kids. But if you develop the team together, everybody understands the concepts. We play with each other. Otherwise, we end up with the one kid who's super powered and everybody else going, well, just give the ball to Brian. He'll score.
Yep.
Right? So now the technical schools have come up. They're starting to pop up. I'm one of them. I try to take kids and teach them the basics. We work on build-outs. We work on basic dribbling through traffic. Foundations, using touch on the ball. Ball taps. Simple stuff. Receive the ball. Juggle it once. Pass it back. Use the header. These things have always been there for a reason. Repetition in those warm-up stages so you don't have to make a whole lesson out of it. And then the concepts. And nobody's doing them anymore. It's
because they see these things on YouTube or professionals, and they'll have hurdles and cones and flagpoles and all sorts of stuff. And yeah, it looks great. I'm sure from a parent's perspective, oh, look, see, they're running in and out of cones and doing this and doing that and taking shots. But how does that relate to the game?
How does that relate to the game?
And so, like, I know when I'm doing private training, and it's I try to figure out, first it starts with the fundamentals.
Yes.
You do the fundamentals over and over and over, because you're always going to be doing the fundamentals in a game. Every time you're going to pass, you're going to control, you're going to shoot, you're going to dribble. And then how can I relate that to a game as far as like putting pressure on a player in a training session? So yeah, sometimes it's just keep it simple, but everyone, like you said, a lot of these coaches, club coaches, think that they're walking into Old Trafford or at the
Thank
Etihad,
you.
and
Exactly.
when they have a 10-year-old squad, kids with them, and they think that this is their moment to shine. And it just gets, especially from a referee perspective, you hear, because it's like, really, but
Yeah.
you know,
These are 8-year-olds, right?
yeah,
And they're screaming at you. You're going, what?
right.
Sir, excuse me a second. Pardon me. I don't see any agents here.
No agents or scouts here at the 8-year-olds level.
So we do a little bit of technical training out of VFI Athletics. Show you a little bit here. One of our students. We do basic stuff. And this is what you end up with if you're working on a player, say midfielder, and trying to get him to work through midfield conditions. This is generally a warm-up. We're just asking him to do movement, kind of recognize where the positions are and we work right, we work left. And this is, again, a very basic drill. Has hopefully some game day transition, right? This is what people need to see more of. With a group, I'd be doing a rondo. We'd be working rondos first and trying to get them to first static, sitting there working, and then actually moving and transitioning, cutting, checking in, checking out. One of my big things working with a lot of these kids, when I put them in a rondo, they're lost. They stick by the cone and they turn this way and they turn that way, but the cone is right here. I'm like, you understand the concept of the rondo. This is a defender. I need you to check out. Open up the hip, receive. If you're going to pass right back, then yeah. If you're going to pass with the other leg, open up the hips this way, go that way. And trying to explain these ideas and concepts to these kids is difficult. Most of them have no clue. So I really do think there's got to be something we can do about developing soccer. If it's not about money, then what? We have to volunteer our time as much as possible to help this out? Is that the way it's going to be?
It's a tough, because yes, you as coaches, you want to get paid for your time and for your knowledge and for your expertise and for your experience.
That's it.
But the clubs, I think it's more at a club level. They have to not be about the money, and they have to put and invest more into their coaches and to their coaches' education,
yes,
and to accountability for their coaches. And I mean, I've been in clubs. Nobody would watch me or watch my training sessions on a Tuesday night. They just, why? Because the director of coaching is coaching 3 or 4 teams himself.
Right.
So they don't have time to go and hold people accountable.
And that's not his job. He's supposed to be managing the coaches.
He should be managing the coaches.
Exactly.
Not coaching teams. So I think it's at the club level, they need to do a better job at having coaches that are educated, that are passionate, that care, and hold them accountable to what they're training.
Okay. All right. Last thought. If we really wanted to do something in our nation about this, we have the mechanisms in place, right? So supposedly we have this pyramid of rec, then going into the state level, ECNL, EDPL, MLS next, right? The whole tier. If we have all of these brackets available, that means we have the ability to see players on a large scale. If American Idol can do it, state by state, have all these tryouts at local malls, right? And find the last 20 people that are going to compete, why can't U.S. Soccer find this mechanism, put it into place in all the lower end neighborhoods? Let's say we have to have, 10 scholarships players per team that's competing at these levels, and see everybody. Whittle it down to the final, say, 1 per state, so we have 102 players, and then from there, create a starting squad with a backup into a B squad. My thought. The mechanism is in place for us to do something about it that way. The hard part, as you said, is creating the coaching culture. We need to develop the coaches. Those licenses are not cheap. And we do them on our own. No one gives them to you. You've got to go after it. I know the first license is what, $650 now, $750 for the first one, the D. Then you go on to the C and you're getting in about $1,100, $1,200. Mm-hmm. B, you're pushing $2,000.
3,000, and the A is around $4,000 to $5,000.
$4,000 to $5,000. You've gone all the way to the A.
Yeah.
And self-funded,
Oh yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
So this is where we're at in our nation, guys. We really need to dedicate more time to this. Now, we'll bring this topic back. Again, this was just a final note, but it turns into a big deal. You and I are very involved in this. So we need to talk to somebody. We need to get somebody's ear and say, hey, we got some ideas.
Yeah.
Landon Donovan, where the heck are you?
And it could come down to something as simple as, like the club or coach level or club level saying, hey, U.S. Soccer, I have these 3 players that are 15 years old. How do you look at them? So now instead of U.S. Soccer sending out scouts to the backyards, they rely on certain coaches or clubs that find these diamonds in the rough and then kind of promote them instead of them just going to ECNL or going to the MLS Next program because sometimes they can't afford it.
Nope.
Okay, and so we're missing out on a lot of players that way too.
Yeah, and that's where we get into our pay-to-play models and all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
We'll tackle that on our next episode because these are long conversations. So thanks for coming in, Coach Brian.
Yep, thank you.
That's all we got for you today, guys. Enjoy the matches today. Who do we got playing today? What's going on today?
We got England and Norway.
England and Norway. And Argentina, Switzerland. Norway? England. He's got England. I want to row. I want to keep rowing. So I'm going Holland. I'll go against you today. Think you got it, but on the off chance. Switzerland, Argentina. Argentina's my favorite. I think Switzerland puts up a fight, but let's see what happens. So thank you very much for joining us. We'll see you next time here on Coach Unfiltered. Coach Brian, Coach Art, you ready? Let's go.